Hola clase, hoy vamos a hacer el reportaje mundial de felicidad de 2023. So today we're going to be talking about the World Happiness Report that just came out in marzo, just came out in March. Este es un tópico que me encanta hacer. This is a topic that I love to do porque yo pienso que la calidad de la vida es una cosa súper importante. Yo creo que, I believe that quality of life is algo super importante, super important. And it's something that I never really thought about before I started studying languages and traveling too much. I didn't consider the quality of my life until I stepped outside my own little bubble here in Los Estados Unidos. And when I traveled, I just realized that a lot of other societies and cultures were living just a little bit different with less stress, enjoying life more. And it didn't take me long to get hooked on that. And so every semester I try to do a lesson on the World Happiness Report. And because we're talking about el bienestar, the well-being this chapter, I felt like it kind of fit in with that. So el reportaje se trata de una publicación en la que listan los países más felices del mundo. So this is coming from a publication that lists the happiest countries in the world. So also understand that it's not mutually exclusive. Even though my country is not number one, it doesn't mean that I can't be happy as well. So this is just a way that they try to quantify what happiness is so governments can use this data to improve their societies. So, para este informe se toman en cuenta datos de 3 años y en este caso de 2020 a 2022, marcados por la pandemia. So for this report, what was taken into account is 3 years. So from 2020 to 2022. So 2020, 2021, 2022, marking through the pandemic. So it is really interesting. I have followed this report as long as it's existed the last 10 years. And so I've watched certain countries fall from different places. Y este año me fascina un poquito porque hay un país que está más alto en la lista este año. There's a country that went way up on the list this year, que me fascina, that fascinates me. So how do you quantify happiness? Well, ingresos, salud, tener a alguien con quien cantar, tener un sentido de libertad para tomar decisiones clave en la vida, generosidad y la ausencia de la corrupción son puntos que juegan un papel importante en apoyo a las evaluaciones. So, ingresos, incomes, salud, health, tener a alguien con quien contar. You have people that you can count on, like family and friends. Tener un sentido de libertad. You have a feeling of liberty, freedom. Para tomar decisiones clave en la vida, to make key decisions in your life. Generosidad, generosity. How likely are you to give to others of your time, of your money? Y la ausencia de la corrupción son puntos que juegan un papel importante. So the absence of corruption. So also how you judge happiness is how much faith you have in your government. The more you believe that your government is corrupt, the less happy people are. So these are some of the things, son puntos que juegan un papel importante. These are points that play an important role. So in this context, un papel importante isn't an important paper, but it means role. So the meaning changes a little bit with the context. So it plays an important role en apoyo a las evaluaciones, in supporting the evaluations. También se toma en cuenta aspectos individuales que cada encuestado dice tener en su vida cotidiana, como risa, amor, momentos de diversión, así como sensaciones negativas, miedo, tristeza y inseguridad. So also they take into account individual aspects. So for example, your vida cotidiana, your daily life. como risa, how you laugh and smile, how you love, moments of fun. También sensaciones negativas, negative emotions. Miedo is fear. Tristeza would be sadness. Y inseguridad, insecurity. So this is how they started doing the study 10 years ago. And they survey as many people as possible, and then they take these findings and they put them en una lista and then say who are the happiness. En la foto yo tengo mi compañera de la universidad y ella es holandesa, ella es de Amsterdam y en la foto ella está con mi hija. So this is my roommate from college and she is Dutch, ella es holandesa. Y en la foto, ella está con mi hija. She's with my daughter en la foto. So, hay una razón que yo tengo Sophie en mi presentación, pero vamos a ver en unos minutos. There's a reason I have Sophie in my presentación, and you'll see that in a couple minutes. So, vamos a ver con la lista. ¿Ustedes están listos para ver quién es el más contento del mundo? Are you all ready to see who's the happiest in the world? So what I'm going to do is go backwards. So I'm going to go from number 10 to número 1. Y vamos a hacer como así. We'll do it like that. Okay. So you all have your cheat sheets. So you're going to fill in el país, the country, la capital y también la nacionalidad. So vamos a practicar y un poco es repaso porque nosotros hicimos las nacionalidades en febrero, entonces es también buen repaso. Pero este país es nuevo y número 10 es la Nueva Zelanda. La Nueva Zelanda. ¿Cuál es la capital de la Nueva Zelanda? ¿Cuál es la capital de la Nueva Zelanda? Wellington, ¿sí? Y una persona de Wellington o una persona de la Nueva Zelanda es neozelandés. Neozelandés. So much practice right now with how to say words. And a great way to get better at Spanish is actually just speaking out loud. So neozelandés, it's a mouthful. So knowing that you pronounce every syllable in Spanish, pronuncia cada vocal, es importante. That's an important part of understanding, pero that also makes it a little bit easier with knowing how to do the pronunciations if you know you have to break it down by syllable. So, una persona de la Nueva Zelanda es neozelandés. Ok, vamos. Número 9. Es un muy pequeño país en Europa. Y quizás es el más pequeño país en Europa. ¿Ustedes saben qué es el más pequeño país en Europa? ¿Cómo se llama? Número 9 es Luxemburgo. Luxemburgo. La capital de Luxemburgo es Luxemburgo. Entonces, súper fácil. Una persona de Luxemburgo es luxemburgués. Este es difícil de decir. I'm doing a lot of gymnastics with my tongue right now. Also, I've had a lot of practice, pero la más que practica, the better you'll get. Para ver dónde está Luxembourg. So remember, anytime you're talking about location, you use a star. So, ¿dónde está Luxemburgo? Luxemburgo está en Europa. Europa. Y está al lado de Francia, Alemania y Holanda. So aquí, la roja, el rojo, the little tiny red piece right here, that's Luxembourg. So muy, muy pequeño, because the Netherlands is a small country, and this is even smaller, más pequeño. Okay, número 8. ¿Qué país? Yo puedo ver la foto y yo tengo un bien idea de qué país. I can look at this photo and have a general idea of what country I think it is. Porque las montañas y el color del lago también. Número 8, la Suiza, Switzerland. ¿Cuál es la capital de la Suiza? la capital de la Suiza es Bern. Y en la Suiza, una persona de Bern es suizo o suiza. Y hay 3 lenguajes oficiales en la Suiza. En la Suiza habla francés, alemán y italiano. Entonces hay 3 lenguajes oficiales en la Suiza. Nunca he visitado la Suiza, pero yo quiero hacerlo. I have never visited Switzerland, pero I want to. Yo quiero ir inmediatamente. I want to go immediately, pero tengo otros viajes que necesito hacer primero. Pero la Suiza está en mi lista, por cierto. Okay, coming in at número 7. Me encanta esta foto. Cada vez que yo veo la foto, yo tengo wanderlust. ¿Qué es wanderlust? Wanderlust is a feeling you get when you see a photo and you say, I need to go there. So it gives you the urge to travel. That is what wanderlust is. Y número 7 es la Noruega. So Norway. ¿Y la capital de la Noruega? Oslo. Oslo. ¿Y una persona de Oslo es noruego o noruega? Muy bien. Número 6 en la lista. La Suecia. La Suecia es Sweden. ¿La capital de la Suecia? Estocolmo, Estocolmo, Stockholm, Estocolmo. ¿Y una persona quien es de Estocolmo? Es sueco o sueca. Y habla sueco. Yo quiero visitar Escandinavia también. Los países de Escandinavia son la Suecia, Finlandia, Noruega, Dinamarca, y normalmente ellos están en la lista de los primeros 10. They're usually in the top 10, the Scandinavian countries. All right, número 5, coming in at número 5, es uno de mis países favoritos en el mundo. No sé por qué, yo sé por qué, pero es una cultura que me fascina muchísimo. Me encanta visitar, me encanta ir. Hay muchos canales. La ciudad actualmente está en todos los canales. La mayoría de gente andan por bicicleta. La mayoría de gente habla inglés y holandés. Sí, número 5 es el País Bajo o Holanda. So there's 2 words for this country. And actually I learned recently why, but I forgot. And I'm going to have to figure that out. But El País Bajo is the Netherlands. And that means the low country. Because the Netherlands is right at sea level. And the Dutch are known for creating incredible dikes. And also, if you can see, they built their whole city on water. So Holanda, it's also called Holland. So you might hear those 2 words. So Holanda or El País Bajo. ¿Y cuál es la capital de El País Bajo? Ámsterdam. Perfecto. Muy bien. Y si yo soy de Ámsterdam, yo soy holandés o holandesa. So yo voy a hablar un poquito de Ámsterdam. Esta foto es de 2009, pienso que sí. He visitado Ámsterdam 15 veces. He visitado Amsterdam 15 veces. I've been to Amsterdam 15 times. Por el mínimo. It could be more. Yo no sé. Porque mi compañera de la universidad es holandesa. So my roommate in college was Dutch. So yo fui muchas veces a visitarla. I went a lot of times to visit her. Cuando mi esposo y yo casamos, nosotros fuimos para nuestra luna de miel for our honeymoon. Yo en la foto estoy con los padres de mi compañera. Esta es mi compañera Sophie. Pienso que esta foto es de quizás 2005, 2006, 2005, 2006. Yo fui a visitarla durante el verano y pasamos mucho tiempo juntos. Y en 2022 yo fui con mi esposo y mis 2 hijos a visitar su familia in Amsterdam. So it was really special this past year because I took my children to Amsterdam for the first time, and they got to meet my roommate's children here and play together. So it was really special. So I think that's definitely why Amsterdam has a special place in my heart. People make experiences. So you can travel anywhere in the world, but if you don't talk to people, you're not having the best experiences. People can make or break our experiences. And that's what I love about travel. And that's probably why I love Amsterdam so much, is that her family has welcomed me and shown me the intimate parts of their everyday life. Whereas a tourist, you might not get to see that. So I've been enough times to be able to soak it in. So with that being said as well, I'm going to segue into a couple videos so you guys can see why, the Dutch are number 5 on the list of happiest in the world, but their Dutch children are the happiest in the world. They are encouraged to spend time playing and socializing. 3% of residential land is reserved for playgrounds. So this is just a video that I did. You're gonna need. I don't want to. Is that what you're supposed to do? Is climb up this? Amazing! What's cool about this is actually, so these are Sophie's children, and we were at her hotel, and they were just waiting outside for us. And from the naked eye, it just looks like it's a monument, perhaps. Like, what is this huge stone structure outside these apartment buildings? Well, 3% of residential land is reserved for playgrounds. So in all these different parts, even though it doesn't look like something you should be climbing on, this is for children to climb on. And this little circle thing around here, is all padded because it's actually pretty high. He was making me pretty nervous. But play is encouraged because it's such a huge part of socialization and growing. And so the next video I'm going to show you is Dutch children are the happiest children in the world. And I'll give you some of those reasons why. So vamos a ver. I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why Dutch children are the happiest in the world. If you visit the Netherlands, you're going to see children biking around town, hanging out on the back of their parents' bike, eating chocolate sprinkles like there's no tomorrow. So no wonder they're the happiest in the world. I recently took my children to Amsterdam to play with their cousins, so I was able to see firsthand how totally awesome it is to be a child in the Dutch culture. My children experienced so many playgrounds in a short period of time. In the Netherlands, play is encouraged, and it is an important part of childhood development. Through play, children learn how to react to situations, confrontations, and social settings. The Dutch culture is centered around family first. Both moms and dads have equal roles in the family, and they try to spend as much time together as possible. Dutch parents are known to be the happiest in the world. Apples don't fall far from the tree. Freedom to ride. The Dutch love getting around on 2 wheels and have a dedicated bicycle system that makes it safe for adults and children. Kids have the freedom to cycle to school, to sports, to visit their friends. This gives them loads of confidence, exercise, and tons of independence. So much to unpack in that video, and I'm sure that's why, going to Amsterdam, having that experience, seeing this incredible idea of living, and seeing how happy their children are. I know I had a really profound experience the last time I went because it was just right after the Uvalde shootings. And so I had disassociated with it. We have so many shootings in the United States that it's just easier for me not to think about it, especially as a teacher, because it's something that crosses my mind frequently. So I hadn't really thought about it a lot. And then all of a sudden, in Amsterdam, my children are playing on all these playgrounds. I'm in a really big city. I'm also not super close to my kids. Like I can sit at a cafe and watch my kids at a playground and not need to be next to their side. I got overwhelmed with sadness because I saw how happy and free my children were playing. And I loved this idea of living. This is the idea of living that I would love for my children. I wasn't worried about them being kidnapped. I wasn't worried about them being shot. And I think that's a part of travel that is so important, that we can go see how societies function in a healthy manner and what can be done so that we can achieve that as well. And so I take all these ideas that I see when I travel and I try to implement them into my own life, because we get one life. And there is no wrong way or right way. The American way isn't the best way, and it isn't the worst way. The Dutch way isn't the best way or the worst way. It is just a way. And so there are ways that can influence your life to have a better quality. And I think that's what I love about going to Amsterdam. They've really figured out that balance of social and work life and happiness. And so to introduce my children to this at a young age makes me really hopeful that maybe they will be able to incorporate this into their life in the future as well. So I cannot recommend enough going to visit the Netherlands. They have incredible museums. On top of that, 93% of Dutch people speak English. And so if you're nervous about a language barrier, it's a great place to start, because everyone you're going to run into is going to speak English. And so it's an easy transition if you're someone that's a little bit nervous or insecure about traveling for the first time. I highly recommend Amsterdam. It's an incredible, incredible place. Okay, so vamos a número 4. We're going to go ahead and go to number 4. Y este me fascina porque el año pasado Israel estaba número 8 or número 9. So I think last year Israel was number 8 or 9. And el año antes de eso, quizás número 13. Maybe the year before they were number 13 or 14. But in these last couple years, they've jumped to número 4. So this is la Israel. ¿Ustedes saben la capital de Israel? Exacto. Jerusalén. Doing lots of gymnastics with our tongues today. Jerusalén es la capital, y si yo soy de Israel, yo soy israelí. So they have jumped really high on the list. So me fascina. How can we do the same? How can we jump higher on the list? Okay, número 3, la Islandia. La capital de la Islandia? Reykjavik. Y una persona de Islandia? Islandés. Y la femenina, islandesa. So I should have the feminine there too, but islandés, islandesa. Y Islandia no está súper lejos de los Estados Unidos. Pienso que Toronto a Islandia es 4 horas por avión. I think that Toronto to Iceland is like 3.5, 4 hours. So it's not that far of a flight. And you can usually find pretty decent flight tickets too. And so again, es otro lugar para comenzar tus viajes. If you're nervous, this is a great place to start as well. It's not far. It is the island itself. It's not expensive to get there, but the island itself is a little bit more expensive because everything has to be imported. So, and Islandia siempre está muy alta en la lista de los países más contentos. So Iceland has always been very high up on the list of happiest countries in the world. Número 2 en la lista has been número 1 muchas veces. So this country has been number 1 many times. It has recently fallen to number 2, but that's not too shabby. La Dinamarca. ¿Y la capital de la Dinamarca? Copenhague. Muy bien. ¿Y una persona de Dinamarca? Danés. So, habla danés. Yo soy danés. También danesa. Okay, so if it was a girl, you would add an A to the end. Muy bien. ¿Y ustedes están curiosos? ¿Qué es número 1? ¿Qué país es número 1? What is the number 1 country? Vamos a ver. Hace mucho frío y está en el norte. La Finlandia es número 1. La capital de la Finlandia, Helsinki. Y si yo soy de la Finlandia, yo soy finlandés, finlandesa, hablo finlandés. Y por sexto año consecutivo, Finlandia encabeza la lista. So por sexto año consecutivo, for the 6th year in a row, Finlandia encabeza la lista. Okay, so Finland blanks la lista. So maybe this word is new for you, encabeza. So it definitely has the word cabeza, which means head. So for the 6th year in the row, Finland heads the list. Finland leads the list. So encabezar is to lead, and cabeza is lead. Okay, so Finlandia encabeza la lista. So for the 6th year in a row, Finland is number 1. Hay un montón de razones. There are a mountain of reasons for this. They have incredible support from their government, and that makes a really big reason why. For example, let's say you go to have a baby. The parents get up to 2 years off. You also get the first 3 months provided for all food and clothing. And so that really supports people to be able to grow their families in a very healthy way. And if you can think about your people growing their families in a healthy way, then that probably means that your society is going to grow in a healthy way. And so we really have to start looking at things in a bigger picture. A lot of times in our society, we can get 6 weeks off and maybe less depending if you get paid or not. 6 weeks es nada. And so you have parents that are super stressed out trying to pay for money to cover to their child that they should be spending time with, and creates a lot of stress. And then those stressed out people are going to work, and then those stressed out people are returning to their children at the end of the day, and the cycle continues. So you can see when you prioritize your citizens and your families, it does have a huge impact on the happiness that happens. So siempre me fascina la calidad de la vida. It always fascinates me, the quality of life. So vamos a ver, y los países hispanohablantes and our Spanish-speaking countries, well, we didn't see any of them in the top 10. De hecho, 9 de los primeros 10 puestos son ocupados por países europeos. I mean, for the most part, 8 of the 10 spots are occupied by European countries. Solo 2 que no son europeos. Israel y también Nueva Zelanda. So there's only 2 that aren't in Europe. So Europe really has a lot going on. And it doesn't mean that you can't be happy in your own country, but I think with their social structures they have set up, it allows for a lot of happiness. So, vamos a ver los primeros lugares para países hispanohablantes. So, who comes in first for Spanish-speaking countries? So, the first one on la lista de los países hispanohablantes, Costa Rica viene número 23. So Costa Rica comes in at number 23. ¿Y la capital de Costa Rica? San José. Muy bien. Es buen repaso, ¿no? Y una persona de Costa Rica es costarricense. También algo coloquial. A colloquial saying is yo soy tico or yo soy tica. They're not going to say necessarily costarricense. So, es interesante por Costa Rica, bajo en la lista. Costa Rica has really gone up on the list. Last year, I think it was número 14 or número 15, and this year es número 23. So it's actually risen. Our next país hispanohablante, Uruguay, comes in at número 28. So es interesante. España está en Europa. Y Costa Rica y Uruguay están adelante. They are ahead of España. So es interesante. La capital de Uruguay, Montevideo. Y si yo soy de Uruguay, yo soy uruguayo. Muy bien. O uruguaya. Fantástico. Viva España. Estamos en Barcelona en la foto. España viene a número 32, la capital de España, Madrid. Y si yo soy de España, yo soy español o española. Yo tengo una razón que probablemente España es número 32. I have a reason why Spain is probably number 32. Porque me encanta la vida en España. The lifestyle in Spain is probablemente mi favorita, is one of my favorite of all cultures. Pero España tiene más personas desempleado del probablemente el resto. So Spain has a 25% unemployment rate, and it affects mainly young people. And so this has led to a lot of unhappiness with the country. Es súper difícil encontrar trabajo si tenga 25 años. So it is really hard to find work si tiene 25 años. If you're 25 and younger, 25 to 30, unemployment is a big issue. So I think this is one of the reasons that España is higher on the list, because otherwise Spain has got it going on. Okay, vamos a continuar también. Yo voy a mostrar ustedes un poco de España. It is also one of my favorite places to visit. So I was just going to show you some scenes from Madrid, and then I'm going to show you otra ciudad que es muy vieja, Toledo. And then we'll go from there. Oh, I'm going to rewind.
Ding dong, ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding, ding, ding dong.
Some tapas.
Ding dong, ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding, ding, ding.
Okay, so that was a day in Madrid, and let's do Toledo.
It's me.
Toledo es una ciudad super vieja. It's really old. As you can see in the end there, the city was created way before vehicles, and it was made for horses and buggies or horses. And so if there's car coming, people need to get to the side. There's no room for others to go, and there's only one-way traffic. So me fascina esta parte. So Spain es increíble if you have the oportunidad a viajar. Okay, so vamos a ver con el resto. We'll see what else is going on here. All right, coming in at número 20 or 35 is Chile, la capital de Chile. Santiago. Oye, Dios mío, necesitamos cambiar. We need to change this. Es Santiago. Y si yo soy de Chile, yo soy chileno or chilena. And it's interesting to see Chile has really kind of gone up on this list. And just recently, there had been a lot of corruption in Chile with the elite. And recently, there was a new election with a very young activist who's in his 30s that won president. So it'll be interesting to see how things progress in Chile. And Chile leads the world in some of its environmental causes and is very, very progressive. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress with their new leadership. Okay, vamos a continuar. ¿Qué país? México es número 36. ¿Y la capital de México? La Ciudad de México. Y si yo soy de México, soy mexicano. Yo pienso que es impresivo que México es número 36. Mexico's number 36. It's pretty impressive. Well, ¿hay cuántos países en el mundo? ¿Hay cuántos países en el mundo? How many countries are in the world? ¿Hay cuántos países en el mundo? I think that pienso que hay 197. Pero voy a chequear. A veces cambia. Oh, sí. So, 195. There are 195 countries in the world today. The total comprises 193 countries that are member states of the United Nations. and 2 countries that are non-member observer states. So hay 195 países en el mundo, so to be 36 out of almost 200. No es terrible. No es terrible. Y número 38, Panamá. La capital de Panamá, la ciudad de Panamá. Y yo soy de Panamá, yo soy panameño, o yo soy panameña. Muy bien. Y la última me da un poco sorpresa. La última, the last one me da un poco sorpresa. The last one gives me a little bit of surprise porque es el más pobre en América Central. Pero he visitado este país y comprendo por qué está número 40, pero me da sorpresa. Okay, so, número 40 es Nicaragua. So, me da sorpresa. La capital de Nicaragua es Managua. Y si yo soy de Nicaragua, yo soy nicaragüense. O yo soy Nico. Yo soy Nica. So, Nicaragua es el más pobre país en América Central. Nicaragua is the poorest country in Central America, but it comes in at number 40, which I think is not too shabby, to be honest. And I will say, the people there are very happy. They have very little, and they are very happy. And it just is a reminder of the simplicity of life. I have met some really, really wealthy people that are miserable, and I've met poor people who are some of the happiest people. And I think that's what the value of travel is. When I go to a lot of the countries in Central America and South America, people are so happy if their family is well taken care of and happy. Everything else is just nonsense. And so we in the United States focus a lot on work. We focus a lot on consumption. And this is not necessarily the priorities in other countries. And I think for us, it causes a lot of stress. This is the value. For me, again, I'm just going to reiterate the value of learning languages and studying other cultures is that you can find the best ways to improve your life and start living that way. We do not have to live in a world of stress and chaos. So just keep that in mind. Hay un montón de diferentes ideas en el mundo. There is a million different ideas of life in this world. Go explore them, find them. Let's make our society better. Let's make our community better by understanding and educating as well. So I hope after this lesson you feel inspired to travel and go see the world. I'm curious maybe what country on the list or what surprises you. So I will be happy to hear your thoughts in your homework. Que tenga buen día. Y nos vemos pronto. Si hay problemas, por favor, mándame un email y nos vemos. Chao. Estoy bromeando. I was joking. I'm back. I never told you dónde está en la lista es los Estados Unidos. Because we're in the United States, wouldn't it be nice to know where we are on the list? So, ¿qué piensan ustedes en dónde estamos en la lista? Nosotros estamos número 15. So no es terrible, ¿verdad? 15 out of casi 200. 15 isn't too bad. So the United States comes in at number 15. I've never seen us go higher than 15, and I've seen us as lower than 15, and I've seen us as high as 18. So we have stayed in between that number for the last 10 years that I have followed this report. So now you know where los Estados Unidos está en la lista. Y ahora, tenga buen día. Nos vemos. Chao.